Girl, it's what I heard. Allegedly, it's just the word. Allegedly, it's on the street. Allegedly, I sing to the beat. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly. Allegedly, it's just the word allegedly. It's what I heard allegedly. It's on the street allegedly. I sing to the beat allegedly. Allegedly, allegedly, it's what I heard allegedly. It's just the word allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue allegedly. It won't help you allegedly. Allegedly. Hello, good morning, everyone. I have the link in. This is an open forum about housewives of Atlanta and our Porsha problem. But I want to start off the episode congratulating Dustin Ross and letting you know he's going to be in Philadelphia at City Winery June 17th. June 17th. You know, over here, we are all about support. He has just shouted us out, and I want to make sure everybody get a ticket to his show, full free, press and promo. Dustin, thank you for always being my friend, for always being my supporter, and for always being a class act. That gentleman is a class act. And when you hang out with him, you feel like you're on a yacht on smooth seas. I'm telling you. I am telling you. He is just as warm and friendly and smooth as you think. I'm telling you. But now let's talk about Porsha. It's a flop. It's a flop like a titty. It's a flop. It maybe, you know what? She about to have to go to the heavy titties of Hollywood in a minute and lay her head on big bosoms because this has been a flop. We thought we were going to see the fruit of a destructed marriage. We thought we were going to say, okay, you done took this woman's husband. What you gonna do with him? Ain't done nothing. Ain't done nothing. You are disjointed. You have no plot line. You have no purpose. And you've come back as what my mother would refer to, a hateful harpy. She would call you a hateful harpy. Child, that music, that Lulu song, that's on somebody's top 10 right now. They came out with some good music. I'm impressed. A housewife with a good album. I'm impressed. I love your wallpaper, by the way.
Thank you, Alex. And
you got two kinds of wallpaper. All right.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's a jewel box room.
Wait, let me show you. Welcome to Philadelphia. I don't know if you remember me.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I live down in the point three section. Yes. You see, this is my vanity. Don't look at my room, y'all. I have, you can't see the curtains too, have a little pattern, little black and white action going on. Yes, I don't look at the junk in the room. But yes, Porsha, awful person. Always been ugly on the inside, ugly on the out. I feel like she is trying to give her best Nene impersonation, sitting there in a confessional, snapping her neck, not reading the girls, not getting them together. Porsha, please. I don't know. She can't carry the show alone. As much as Kenya is, do you think Kenya would have been a necessity?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you think Kenya is needed? Would it?
No, after the stunt Kenya pulled, I feel like Kenya and Britt should both have gone. If Kenya hadn't pulled that stunt, it would have been interesting to see Kenya and Porsha go at it. And maybe that's what they should have done. Maybe they should have reignited that feud.
Cause this right here, I mean, I like what Angela's giving, but I don't. She doesn't really for Porsha to just even. So the static with Angela is now making sense because I'm like, why is Porsha being so mean to Angela? Kelly's the one that said, "Why you take that lady husband? Why you so mad at Angela? Oh, cause you want Charles." I feel like Porsha is the kind of person who said, "I look like this and you look like that, but you have what I want. I should have that." It's like maybe she felt that way about Fallon. Like she feels like she is the creme de la creme and maybe deserves her NBA baller to build a family with. Because Porsha can't keep a man. You know, they they don't stay for long.
I mean, it's been proven at this. And I would even say you're not trying to pick a man, you're trying to pick a meal ticket.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to pick a meal ticket.
And there's another YouTuber says Porsha counts with her eyes. She was fooled by what's his face, Simon. I don't feel sorry for her. I mean, we all knew it was going to end. It wasn't going to be good. You know, her and Simon. This is when I knew Porsha was a hateful harpy, as you say. When she stole Simon and she was rubbing it in that girl's face, like the jets and the trips and the all the stuff that they were doing. She was just like going hard with it, and I just thought that was so. You already took this lady husband, but you want to rub it in her face now, and she's got kids. She's pregnant. Come on, Porsha. I Portia's disgusting me with her attitude, with her being quote unquote in charge of the girls, and she's really not. I don't like it, and I think when Phaedra comes, it's just going to embolden Porsha. It's just going to make it worse.
Well, fortunately, Phaedra will only be there for the last 2 episodes.
Oh, good.
I do feel like Angela has become the default star of the show. I think we're all looking forward to seeing her next season. And for Porsha to say, "Oh, I'm gonna sleep with her husband," right? Like the ink on your divorce ain't dry yet.
It's not like you didn't learn your lesson, Porsha, by taking people's husbands, or is that who you've always been? You haven't learned your lesson, my mom. No, she hasn't. And to think Charles Oakley would even want you. He's from New York. They know scallywags when they see him.
Ooh.
Listen, Porsha to me is rotten on the inside, metaphorically and physically. You don't have to comment.
She definitely ruined her return. I won with the inauthenticity. You came back as supposedly Mrs. Wabadia, but you still Miss Williams. Like that marriage was a joke and you were the punchline. And this man, like, I can't even be mad at Simon for saying, "Oh, I'm going to take your plot line from you." That's the one thing you thought you was going to get. You ain't getting money. You ain't getting a house. You ain't getting a man. And now you ain't getting a plot line. He's taking everything. He's taking everything.
Well, word on the street is Porsha was paying for everything anyway. Like, she paid for the wedding and stuff. They said he tied up his money in the house so he didn't have to pay anything. He's like, "Girl, you get it and I'll just pay you back." Blase, blase, blase. And so she was the fool who paid for everything. He got her in the end. That's probably why she's fighting so hard for that house. Because why just go away? You still got your mother's in your house. Let her move over. Go home. Be done with it. No, because you spent your money, Porsha. That's what you get. Why are you so mad?
Butterfly Bree, what are your thoughts?
Hey, happy Thursday.
Happy
So
Thursday.
so my thoughts are so two things. So you know how some people, for a lot of people who we think have it like that, or well known or celebrities, Portia is definitely one of those people who has to maintain a certain look. to make people think that her life is quote unquote better than it really is. And also, she's one of those women who, because she's relatively attractive, people automatically give her passes for her bad behavior instead of calling her bullshit out. Because a lot of other women who are not as attractive would never get away with half of the shit she has.
Fair. I also think that her pretty privilege has now met age. And not that she looks old, but there is a level of maturity, a level of grace, a level of human decency and respect that we now expect from her. And she's still acting like, I'm 23-year-old cute Porsha. Oh, I'm stupid 265 days a year. That Jessica Simpson trope has passed. You were able to play the Black Jessica Simpson for a few years, and it was profitable. It was profitable. But you're 44 now. You have been around the block, through the block, and stole somebody's husband from the block.
And you know what else, Alex? I'm tired of the see-through cat suits. I'm tired of the twerking. I don't want to see that from y'all. Y'all are old. Don't nobody want to see no 40-plus-year-old asses twerking in some fishnet cat suits. I'm sorry. That shit is, y'all don't let it. When they was going to the pool, I was like, ooh.
That cover up was cute on Phaedra in the 30s, but yeah, in the 40s, we have a little more respect for ourselves. We have a little more dignity. We know how to be sexy at our age. Like Angela. Angela's very sexy. She knows how to show, but there's a womanliness about it. There's a maturity.
Yes.
There's I ain't gotta you ain't gotta see everything. I ain't gotta get this close to the areola to show you some cleavage. I ain't gotta do all that and lift. And I ain't gotta do all that to be sexy.
The whole titty is out. I've never seen so much. Like
oh, Lord. And then they look like they hurt. It doesn't look.
It does look like it hurts. It does.
Those outfits, like now, Kelly, you just young enough to pull it off. Where it's like okay, you 30. It's very much we understand. I'm 35 and still fine. We get at 44. You shouldn't have anything to prove. And so you should have more self-worth and self-value where it's like, I ain't got to put my ass on display like that for men to want it. I know men want this. I can walk in the room draped, but still shaped.
Yes.
But it speaks to Porsha's, in my opinion, it speaks to her and other women like her real insecurities. And they hide that insecurity behind their looks. And for most of their life, because their looks have given them passes, they think that that is going to be sustainable for the rest of their life, and it's not.
Look at the girls from Dubai. They used to be dressed down, and a lot of them covered head to toe. You didn't see all the stankness that you see on Atlanta. And I'm just like, haven't we evolved past this? Isn't this more to Black women? Is this more to what's going? Is this all that goes on in Atlanta? Like, what is it? Why? I don't want to see this. It really bothers me.
I have to say now that we're over the Brit and Kenya thing, now that we've seen that and we've kind of passed that, it's like, Porsha, you're not giving anything. This fake fight with Drew, we don't care. Like, unless you want to spin the block with Dennis, which we know you don't. Now you're doing videos with him on YouTube, so that seems fake and phony. It's really a question of like this kind of proves it was time for a reboot because Porsha, you have run out of story. Kenya, you also had really run out of story. Like, I'm sorry, but your hair spa is not a storyline. Now, if you wanted to do a show called, ATL Hair, then you got a storyline.
Oh, I forget what I was about to say. Kenya, for all I'm mad that Kenya played herself and did that. She could have leaked that shit on Twitter. I'm sorry to curse. But Porsha is not that girl. You so much not that girl that you won't even confront This is what housewives. This you can make your bones right here, Porsha. Tell Drew to stop playing in your face. Okay? Tell her that I know what you're doing. Confront her. On Salt Lake City, they would have confronted. Or what else were they fighting over? Who else was just fighting over husbands? Beverly Hills. That was the topic the whole season. Porsha, say something. Don't sit there at your birthday dinner like, we good. Like, come on. Like, that's not a housewife. What is this?
But
Exactly.
I don't think she can say anything because it would be so hypocritical.
So what? If I was Porsha, I'd be like, Drew, you can't do what I do. And she would have been like, well, you ain't say that to Fallon. Bitch, you're not me. Look, you can't even, you won't even, girl, the reason I would have had for Drew, if I was Porsha, I would have been prepared for comebacks for the Simon thing. Y'all bitches can't do what I do. Sorry. I did it, and, you know, that's what I'm saying. She's not that girl. I'm sorry. I be getting hype, y'all. I'm from Philly. You know, we just be hyped for no reason. I'm sorry. Yes, the Jezebel spirit.
Absolutely. And it's like you're holding on to Drew because you can't talk about Simon. And the sad thing is, at 44, you left Housewives, you left your career at Dish Nation, where now all you have to talk about is an ex-husband and a baby daddy. You have nothing of your own going on in your life.
And you know what, Alex? That was the one thing that I thought was the worst mistake for her. Like, let's say, even if it turns out that Simon wasn't a scammer, which I think he is, but even if he wasn't, like, why would you walk away from your work or all of these opportunities that you've acquired? Because even if the so-called marriage, huh?
She thought she struck gold. That's
no, but anything with, like, I've met women who had good husbands, but like he either got sick or he died unexpectedly. Life can life. So I just didn't think it was smart for her to walk away from all of her opportunities. And some of them, let's be honest, she didn't really earn.
Well, I will say, whether earned or fell into lap, she was keeping her job at Dish Nation until she thought she struck gold, and she struck fool's gold. True fool's gold.
She got the $3 bill.
Even if I did marry well, and I will, I ain't leaving the show. He gonna marry. Like, I hope part of why he likes me is because of my gumption, my get up and go, the fact that, you know, I can get on stage. Like, I want him to like me. Like, don't just like me because of my earning capability, but no, like, I'm not married to a slouch. Who wanted to be a slouch?
I feel like Simon may have probably wanted her to stay on the show, like, when she left, because it seems like he's a fame whore to me. Like, he just wants to keep. I'm glad he's wherever he is, because we don't got to see the tweeting and the posting and stuff. Simon, leave us alone, please. You know, I am so glad that he is where he is, and I hope he stays there. Or I hope he don't sneak back in the country, because he has a knack for that. But, like, I'm glad he's gone.
That's slippery. That's slippery. I'm glad here's the thing, you know, the second he get over there, Netflix is gonna pick up his African reality show, like He's the Housewife.
Girl, that would be on Young Rich and African or whatever it's called. What's the show called? Rich and African? He better not pop up over there.
That would be hilarious. Oh my God, I would watch that.
Oh my God. What if he started dating one of the girls over there? I would be over it. I see that for him now.
I mean, he has the tenacity of a cockroach.
Simon is definitely somebody.
I'm sorry, I have to go. I wish I could stay. I have to go. I hope I run into you. I love you, Mrs. Fallon.
I will see you soon, Richie.
I'll be here the next time you drop the link. See y'all. I have to go.
Have a good day.
Thank you for joining.
Simon definitely reminds me of a cockroach, like she said. There is a local politician here who has run for mayor. Oh my God, probably more times than I can count. And when she said Simon is like a cockroach, it immediately made me think of this woman that he just won't go away.
Now, what is going to happen to Porsha next season? Because you have no plot line now. We don't care. Like, also because of the way you got your man, we ain't nobody feeling sorry for you in this divorce. Nobody is feeling sorry for you in this divorce. One, you were married for 16, 17 minutes, maybe 18, maybe 18 minutes. But the way you stole him from under Fallon's nose in her pool, you'd have made so many women like, nah, I ain't having nobody over to swim. They got beautiful pool. Ain't having nobody. I don't know if I need to trust that heifer. She don't need to be in a bathing suit around my husband. You come over, you swim in a wetsuit and a movie. But Porsha will be dating a stud next season. Well,
she's gonna have to do something. Or she might wind up she might wind up having a plotline relationship.
If this wasn't a plotline relationship, I don't know what is, but this one blew up in her face. And I don't know. Also, what quality man, what man with morals, with dignity, with self-respect is gonna want Porsha because he's like, well, you just be sleeping with anybody's husband. I gotta watch you. What real man is gonna want that? You already down because you in Atlanta. So you all sharing the same 6 penises. I feel like you lost 3 already.
You know what? And not only that, the mere fact that she quote unquote joked about Angela's husband, which I think there are certain things you just do not joke about, like you just don't. Some things are just not funny. You ain't gonna never be able to be like, oh, it was just a kiki. No, it wasn't.
You thought that was a joke?
No, I didn't. But that's how some of social media is trying to spin it.
I don't remember anything. Girl, please. You wasn't. How much anything did it take you to steal Fallon's husband?
Alex, you thought Porsha was looking for a quality man when she got with Simon? You thought that's what she was aiming for?
No, I didn't think she was looking for quality there. I can't say. I mean, I just have you have to be looking for quality with him because you ain't looking at that face.
She was looking at his wallet. She was looking at Fallon's lifestyle.
God, but you still gotta look at his face to get to the wallet.
Yeah, even Elon Musk has a lot of wealth, but
exactly. You didn't find a cute coot.
You know what my thing about Porsha is, and it's not necessarily Porsha, it's the viewing audience. There's this idea that Porsha is like not aware, like she lacks self-awareness, as if Portia's like, this whole like naivete thing that she has with her. People always assume that Porsha kind of stumbles upon these situations and she just kind of ends up in where she is. Portia's very intentional. Regardless of what we think of her intelligence, Porsha makes calculating moves with purpose.
Porsha is a very bright woman. And I think we all know that. And I think that's why we're truly surprised and saddened to watch her all of these decisions that you've made blow up in your face. It's like your life was set before you met Simon. You had the kid, you were dealing with the baby daddy, you were the queen of house, you were inheriting Nene's crown, you and Candy, queen of housewives, you were on Dish Nation, so you had your outside of housewives gig, making boo cool and fan favorite. But then you had to get with Simon, and you have shown us I think also a lot of us have not gotten over the fact that you tried to beat your daughter's grandmother in the head. I think we all like,
and beat the baby daddy with a boom, mate.
mm-hmm.
Hi,
You want to
everybody.
hit your baby daddy. That's the, I feel like everybody gonna give that a pass. It's the grandmother for me, where it's like, no, come on,
Yeah,
we
that
going
was a
after C.
stretch too. That was too far. And also, it to me, it shows that really a lot of people may not see it, but to me, she seems like the whole mean girl. But people don't call her mean girl solely because of her privilege of being pretty and otherwise likable.
We as the viewing audience, I'm omitting myself, but I mean collectively, um, like a pretty mean girl. That's why the Evelyn Lozadas of the world are still in business. You can be as mean as you want to. You can be as nasty as you want to, as long as you're beautiful.
I was a
I
fan of
think
hers.
I think that was true from literally the era of Mean Girls until I would say we stopped shaming sex work. I think
Mm.
that we are watching the end of the Mean Girl era. And also, we've like, this is why it's like, it gets boring. Like, you can be a mean girl and be interesting for about 5 seasons. After that, you have to evolve. And I think that's why we're saying Love and Atlanta is becoming like Love and Hip Hop, because we're not seeing these people evolve. Like, so we're seeing Scrappy still in the same situation, just created another baby mama, same old two-step, same old two-step. Porsha, you can't do the same two-step you was doing at 34, at 44. It's like you haven't learned anything. You haven't grown. And I guess that's the thing. Mean never comes with real intelligence. Kindness is intelligence, and that is growth. And we need to see you grow out of being that mean girl, not settle into it, because now you're no longer a girl.
Or a real balance either. Or a real balance. A lot of times it's like you can have your mean moments, but we also need to see you have something else. And these women lack anything. All they have is their unabashed meanness and possibly their looks. That's it.
I
And we
mean,
bored with that. Because
she
nowadays you
did.
can go to Colombia or the Dominican Republic and become a baddie. It don't cost
Mhm.
much. You could put a
Yikes.
BBL on Klarna.
Not a Klarna
These
BBL.
videos,
I'm just saying, like, nowadays the access to having that aesthetic isn't that far out of reach for your everyday cashier.
True.
It isn't, but you know what?
True.
I
I
everyday
didn't mean to
also
make you
don't
cash.
choke.
think
I'm sorry, Alex.
I mean, I was a fan of Portia's until they put up that, what was that show that she had with the family? And we got to see the real her and how she
Yep,
treated everybody. We got to see
yep.
she was mean, she was nasty, she was trying to control what everybody was doing around her. And I haven't watched a new season of Atlanta because of that series that she had with her family. I was completely disgusted with her. And a woman of my age, I'm going to be 38 at the end of this month. I cannot get with no woman that's still running around chasing baby daddies, trying to find a husband. We don't never see the baby all the way. You know what I mean? Because it's always all about her. She dresses beautifully, but for a 22-year-old, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go there. It is what it is. I'm sorry, I have to go there. I'm a mother. It is what it is. It's
I
all
have a
about her.
question for the panel and for the chat. At what point, for the people who are over Porsha, at what point was it that you was like, okay, I can't do Porsha anymore? I'll tell you, for me, it was the
Mm-hmm.
ultimate girls trip. I could no longer ignore Porsha's intentions and her
Mm-hmm.
actions. For me, it
Mm-hmm.
was ultimate girls trip. It wasn't just situational. It was like, no, you go into these scenarios with purpose.
See, I haven't seen the Ultimate Girls Trip, and maybe I'm gonna go back and watch that. But for me, it was how she treated not just Dennis's mother, but also her
Yep.
sister. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
how are you treating your sister so poorly?
And Dennis, because he still was trying to come back. He was still trying to be a father. He was still trying to make her look good on that family show that she had. He was still trying, but she just kept pushing and pushing. and make it into like this big thing. Remember, they had to end the whole family trip because it ended in a whole melee fist fight. These is all 30, 40, and some of these 50-year-olds that she had out there in the sand rolling around acting stupid. Now that's when I had enough of Porsha, because a woman her age should already know better.
Yeah,
Period.
that's you. You too grown to be fighting like that.
Too
That's
grown
ridiculous.
on TV.
Yeah,
On
she
TV.
was ridiculous on that show, and the way her family lorded over her, and you know it was definitely that mama side of the family, because that daddy side of the family did not play with her like that.
Because you
Like,
see that the daddy side, because you see that she had to have been the sad baby, and the mama was the sad chick. That's why the rest of the family don't mess with Porsha, because that's the sad baby, and
no,
that's how she acts.
I don't think that's why. I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't think that's why. Like, don't get me wrong. That might actually be true in terms of like the relationship part. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the reason is that her who her grandfather is, and around the country, around the world, they might not know about him. I've always been into like Black history and stuff, so I
Right.
remember even as a child learning about her grandfather when learning about the civil rights movement and stuff. But
But
in
Porscha didn't know
Georgia,
about
in
him.
Atlanta, they are a legacy family.
Yes, I
Right,
Honestly,
but
grew up.
Porsha
that
was
name
on
has
TV.
been,
Porscha didn't know about him.
yes,
Porscha
that
said he was in the Underground Railroad. So his legacy, it is a great legacy. Like, I understand it. I enjoy my Black history too. But Porscha was on live TV talking about my grandfather did the Underground Railroad, when the whole time we all had to tell her, baby, no, he did not.
Well, see, that's
That
what
was
I'm saying
Harriet.
though. She has, like, I think the family, because again, they are a legacy family in Atlanta. So
They are. They are.
this housewives fame is nothing to them. Everybody knows about Hosea Williams and the Williams family. That Williams last name has always been worth more than Stewart or Guabadia. And for them, it's like, oh no, you're not introducing us to anything when it comes to Housewives of Atlanta. We already are well known. We have the pull, we have the connections in
Or it
Georgia,
could
so
be
they're
that
not
they don't want to
impressed
be a
by
part
Portia's
of the
newfound
ghettoness.
fame.
I
Or
was
it
gonna
could be
say
that she's a bad. They don't want to be a part of that. That would ruin their legacy.
That too.
If they
Yeah.
allowed Portia to do anything like that, it would ruin their legacy. Now they was on TV one time, I believe. They did show some stuff with the foundation, but Portia was not involved in that. She wasn't even there. It was just the family.
I was
Yes.
I
actually
do
And
surprised.
distinctly
I
remember
don't
that
think
she's not involved in that. So she can't, I mean, yeah, it's okay to say like that's your grandfather and that's your legacy, but that's not the legacy that she's upholding. She's upholding housewives butt naked twerking. She's upholding running after baby dads. She's upholding stealing people's husbands. And she's upholding acting 22 when she's 44 and a mother.
And
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 I
they're not
also,
That's just
impressed
how
by
I
that.
see her.
let me
They're
say
not
this.
impressed.
Like, sometimes you're in a relationship and you meet someone and you realize, oh, okay, this is what love is. It happens. It does
Yeah.
happen.
Hmm.
It does happen. You better stay with the motherfucker. If
Okay.
you gonna steal a husband, don't just steal it. Don't just waste food. Don't go up to the buffet plate, get a big corner piece of macaroni and cheese, unbroken whiting, good seasoned snap peas, a little bit of smoked turkey neck, and oxtail. Okay, I'm getting hungry. Don't
Oh,
get that plate
Mm.
and then take one bite and then
and
call
throw
it
it
a week and
away.
throw it away. The fuck are you
Yes.
doing?
I think she should have stayed with Dennis. I think he loved her. He
Now,
was a hot dog man. He was
well,
making
he was a
money.
cheater, pumpkin eater, and he
And
kept
here's
embarrassing
she
her.
wasn't a prize either. She could have worked around that, because look at what she ended up with.
now I ain't telling nobody to not to settle, but I will say you are what you attract.
Yes.
Hmm.
The option to be
And
single was always
like
there.
there is a level, like I know I have a tendency to like I like certain types of men, and I'm like okay, you know what you like, you know what you're gonna have to deal with. I ain't gonna bother my friends knowing I signed up for the bullshit. I'ma shut
Yes.
up and eat my food and be
Yes.
like,
Because
all right, I'm
because
letting you cheat in peace.
I think Portia's insecurity is what attracted Dennis. Not that, like, okay, I'm not team let him cheat in peace, but if she was not moving from insecurity and desperation, like Portia, in my opinion, could have more her pick of the she could have her pick of the crop as far as men, But when you move in desperation in any relationship, you get what you get.
And I also feel like I,
And
I
what
feel
she had was the hot dog man that was making money. That's what she had. She had the hot dog man.
I feel like before she got with Simon, she was on track to being a self-actualized person.
Mm-hmm.
But she
I
got
feel like
distracted
'cause
by
everybody
trinkets.
has their way of getting there. And I thought, oh, wow, we're going to get to see that journey. That's part of why we like seeing Housewives. I feel like we got to see Karen Huger before the DUIs self-actualize and step into herself as a woman, into her confidence, into her later years with pride and beauty. And it was wonderful to see. It's like, oh, I want to do that when I'm in my 50s. I want to be like that, just as fit and fabulous and really showing us like, hey, don't shit stop. Don't shit stop. I wanted to see her on that journey. I think we all did. And it's like, girl, you went like you repeated Cordell, but worse.
Yes. How do you get worse than Cordell?
I don't
Not
know.
not even that too. I mean, all of that is true. I think the other thing too is that being on this show, surrounding herself with the people that she surrounded herself with, has inflated her ego. Because I have been telling y'all, she thinks that's her show. Her not inviting Drew on that trip when it's supposed to be a cash trip, I don't care about it being her birthday. They tell you, hey, because she's the new OG of the show. She's the new anchor. With Kenya being gone, we need you to host the cash trip with these ladies. Okay, we'll go out of town for my birthday. That's all that is. It's just centered around her birthday, but that is supposed to be the first. Everybody knows Housewives has a domestic and an international cash trip. My thing is her not inviting Drew is her way of gatekeeping. Porsha has an inflated ego. She thinks this Real Housewives of Porsha. She just does. Just like she thought that same thing on Girls Trip.
And I don't think that's just limited to housewives. I think that's how Portia moves in her life. I think if she's not centered, it's a problem.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Even down to the family that she hangs out with, the family that she's close to are the ones that play into that whole egotistical mindset that she has. We can go back to after she tried to beat Dennis with the boom mic and told the entire family, we're not discussing that on camera. Production couldn't get a word out of any of them in regards to that conversation. That's all she cares about. And the ones who don't want to follow or be complicit, they are not allowed around her. Yeah, they aren't. On Girls Trip, for a lot of people who didn't see Girls Trip, Porsha, this is the thing, right? We know Ultimate Girls Trip mixes the franchises, different people from different franchises. Now, I'm not familiar with all the other ladies from every other franchise. The two majority of the shows that I watch, majority of the episodes of, is, listen, I'm rooting for everybody black. So Potomac and Atlanta has always been my shows, right? But those ladies on that show were telling you, hey, I've been drugged on social media, like Candace and the other, what was her name, Leah from New York. I've had some really terrible experiences on social media. I have been attacked. I have been harassed, whatever. So the social media thing is a very sensitive topic for me. Porsha on some petty BS takes a picture of everybody on the cast minus those two and posts it online. And when Candace is like, hey, why would you post that picture? It's my IG. I can post whoever I want. It's not about you posting whoever you want, but the way you did it is going to lead to questions and it's going to make people come and bother us. And we have just experienced this, and we told you that this was our experience and how traumatic that was. I stand firm on this. After that fight with Monique and Candace, they wore her out on social media. Whether you like her or not, they wore her out for a good 2 years on social media long before the episodes even aired. And then it started over again once the episodes started airing. She really went through some changes on social media. I witnessed it firsthand because I follow Candace on Twitter and IG. And if I'm telling you, hey, this is traumatic for me, and you do it anyways, not only is that intentional, but you mean as hell for that. You are mean as hell for that, and you're doing it for an unnecessary reason. She also piggybacked, now understand the situation at hand. What season was that when Giselle was accusing Chris Bassett of all that stuff? Was that season 7 or 8?
I think it might have been 8.
They after they filmed the reunion? No, I'm wrong. After they filmed the season, they immediately a few weeks later
are in Thailand for Ultimate Girls Trip. So they are fresh off of Giselle and her accusations and her refusal to acknowledge that she lied and to be apologetic for it. And Porsha piggybacks on Giselle and is making it seem like he tried to, Giselle and all these other women on the show. Again, you weren't there. You don't know what happened. Why would you perpetuate this narrative? And then only for you later to find out that Giselle's ass was lying. I'm just saying, like, Porsha does a lot of mean and nasty stuff, and people just make it seem like she's so aloof and she doesn't understand what's going on. No, she understands. Porsha definitely understands. She understood what she said. The real problem is, why was all those married women sitting around that pool laughing about what Porsha said? Because Shamia, I don't care if Porsha is your best friend since incubation. You better hope it don't be a hashtag Love Wins 2.0 with your rich African.
You better say that. I wouldn't be for if I personally I don't see how Shamia can like give her passes on even when she was I forgot who she confronted about. Was it not Brit, the other woman who asked her like what was up with her
Angela.
taking, yes, what was up with you taking her husband? Like for Shamia to come on the back end and say, "Oh, that made me feel away." Well, ma'am, I don't know why. Why you should have known that this was going to come up eventually. And you, as a not just a married woman, as a woman who appears to move with integrity, how are you okay with like being cool with this woman? Like I will not be friends with anyone, man, woman, otherwise, who moves that way, because life has shown me that if you will backstab somebody else, you eventually will do it to
You
me.
next. The only thing you are is next.
Because let me tell y'all something about Shamia. Now, Alex, we done came up here and talked about this. I have had my suspicions about Shamia, but I wanted to give her a fair chance and let it play out on TV. Because, like I keep telling everybody, we don't know Shamia. I know we feel like we know her because we've seen her as a friend of a few times, and we've seen her in the background in these scenes over the last several years. But we don't know her. We don't know all of Shamia's business like we've gotten to know all of Porsha's business for the last decade or so. But a lot of times, the reason why people are friends as long as they have been is because birds of a feather will flock together. And don't get me wrong, I don't know. Like I said, we still are getting to know Shamia. That's the one thing everybody got to remember. And I think people are so bedazzled by, her lifestyle and the fact that her and her husband have all this money, and Shamia's, she's the girl that Porsha wants to be. But we still don't know anything about her in a real way. We're getting to know her, and I'm saying that I've had my suspicions that the reason why the two of them are as close as they are, even though Porsha is not the best friend to anybody, she's really a terrible friend if it's not centered around her and what she wants, is because they have a lot of commonalities. And after seeing how Shamia was sitting around that pool and Angela had to go and confront everybody, because why is that funny for her to say that? And you a married woman sitting here participating in this conversation, it's really giving y'all were both running these streets looking for a rich man. Y'all both married. Remember, this is their second marriages. Shamia got one, got her a rich man. She said she just said this in the episode, her first husband was rich and wealthy, and he was very famous, but he was also abusive.
Yep.
And then she had to toss that one back out. Same with Porsha. Porsha landed her a rich man. We all know about Cordell Stewart. He wasn't the best option. He left her high and dry after Miss Diane was eating that pizza in that room. So she had to, he tossed her back into the ocean. And it's given they both were out here running these streets looking for a baller. And Shamia finally landed her a good catch, and Porsha's still looking for hers. But it's giving y'all was on some, I'm gonna be real, it's giving y'all was on some groupie stuff, and Shamia just looked up and found her a rich man that actually wanted to stay with her, and seemingly, because again, we don't know her, it's seemingly a good dude, but Porsha's still looking for hers. They might have more in common than we think they have, y'all.
Now, I have to wonder if I found my mother-in-law eating pizza in my bedroom on a cream sofa, I'd probably just ask her, "What are you watching?"
What kind of pizza is it?
Exactly. Is there more pizza?
Is it fresh? Is
Oh,
it
hey,
still
how are
warm?
you?
Was
I
Alex,
mean,
do you think she was eating it fresh out the box, or do you think she put it on a plate? Because Miss
it
Diane
was
gives
on
me
a.
out straight out the box.
She give me on a plate. She give me
Mm-mm.
on a plate.
She give me on a paper towel.
As long as it's clean,
She gives.
I would like. I might be a little shocked, but I don't think I would say this is ending my marriage.
Yeah, that's a bit extreme. That's a bit extreme.
Like when you looked at, you were like, "Oh hell no, this ain't gonna work." I'm like that. You didn't like her to begin. Well, I mean, woman. So why should I be surprised that you didn't like that in your bedroom?
Babe, I think Shamia already did her Watch What Happens Live. And okay, so this is what I do, right, y'all? When I whenever the season starts and there's questions that I want to ask, because I've had some of my questions read on Watch What Happens Live before, and I will follow Andy and I will turn my notifications on. So when he says that certain people will be on the show, submit your questions, I'll know about it. And I really wish that Shamia had already been on there because I really want to ask her. So, what was you doing down there by that pool when Porsha said she was gonna sleep with that lady's husband? I really want to know. I really want to know, as a married woman, what was your reaction to that? Because she's been on Drew's neck. I don't know if y'all pay attention to Shamia like that. Shamia has been on Drew's neck every chance she gets. She's talking about Drew on her radio show. Y'all know she works for what is it, Direct TV? Is that the thing that they have down there in Atlanta? She's on the radio, is my point. She made it a point to say last summer when they were still filming that she was a better singer and actress than Drew. And I have been waiting all season to see.
That?
Yes, she did. And I have been waiting all season to see what happened between her and Drew for her to have been saying the things that she was saying about Drew last season. When Drew was releasing like little sneak peeks of her music and stuff, that song that she has that samples I Got Five on it, Shamia talked about that on her radio show as well too. She's been on Drew's neck. And even on the show, y'all have seen her make a lot of references to Drew's singing abilities, about how she sings better than Drew. I have yet to see why she has so much smoke for Drew, because the only person that is mad at Drew for no real reason is Porsha. And it's giving follower vibes. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's giving follower vibes. And I have a lot of questions about Shamia. And let's be very clear, because y'all be playing on Drew's neck. And don't get me wrong, Drew got her stuff, but I'm gonna need for y'all, before y'all start talking about Miss Drew Sidora, to run down them IMDb credits. Baby Mama got credits. She got credits, and she is a consistent working actress. I was watching BET 2 weeks ago, and she was on a movie on BET.
Drew has done more Tubi movies than I've done YouTube videos. That woman is committed.
She is committed, and she's a working actress, and she has been a consistent working actress in Hollywood since she was a teenager.
Yes.
And now singer with good music that is undeniable. The first housewife with an album that's going to chart.
You know what?
Hold on, Fifi. I just want to say this real quick to be very clear. And this is not me coming for you. I'm just responding. Shamia can sing. But when you get bold enough to go on radio and say that you're a better singer than actress, I need you to be hollering like Whitney Houston. When we doing comparisons to vocals, you best to be the best thing out here smoking. You better be wooing like Adele, okay? You better be hitting higher notes than Mariah Carey. I'm just saying, Shamia is a nice singer, but she ain't all of that for her to be down in the next chick.
But you know what? That could also, when you said that sometimes people hang out with folks because they have a lot in common, Shamia might also have struggled with a history of her own insecurities and not feeling quote unquote validated. So I mean, because here's the thing, yes, she can sing, but
I believe
if I'm a solid singer,
hair speaks of insecurity.
It does. And it feels like, oh, I thought singing was gonna be my storyline. And now that Drew is also making music her storyline, it's giving a little bit of jealousy.
Yes.
But I'm sorry. Ralph is out here asking for alimony. He talking shit about the girl from her basement. Can you imagine a man you can't stand down in your basement talking cash money shit about you on a podcast? And you can hear him and he in earshot. Drew is out here working. Drew is out here trying to feed these kids. That man is asking for alimony and won't move out that house.
He won't just leave her as a clean break. So Drew may not be the Angela Bassett of Hollywood, but Drew has definitely made her mark, and she definitely making her money. That's undeniable.
Y'all know her name?
Ooh,
Period.
Drew will have a career after Housewives. Drew is using the franchise as it is supposed to be used. Bolster your fame, launch projects. I know she's doing stuff on Tubi and Peacock, and now you've got this album out that people really like. She's gonna have a future after Housewives. I don't see her jumping off like Garcelle, but when it's time for her to move on, she'll have something to move on to. Porsha, you're, hitting the end of your tenure. Now, you might have thought you took a couple years off and then restarted the clock. We don't want to see you at 54 on this show. Like, we ain't. This isn't the Housewives of old where we're going to watch you for 20 years. And what do you have to show us? We don't want to see you confuse Pilar about who her daddy is with another quickie marriage. Mia already ruined that for you.
That also was weird. I don't think she should have had her child around Simon. That was weird.
Per the timeline,
it was very. Dennis seemed to just be like, okay, I gotta go along with this, but that was very fast to have your daughter calling him dad, and now he's on business. Like it's one of those. This doesn't seem like it's icky because you don't want to critique parenting, but anybody would be like, I wouldn't do that with my child. I wouldn't do that with my child. I wouldn't do that with Brom.
So per Porsha's timeline that she presented to us, it was very fast. However, Lil PJ seemed very comfortable and familiar with Mr. Guabadia. So one could only assume that the timeline Porsha gave us is not the actual timeline. It possibly has been a quite longer than what she told us. Because according to her, they fell in love less than a month.
It has to be. I have young kids, and they don't just run up to just anybody. You have to be around them. Do you know what I mean? For them to even be like, hey, and then to have a child call somebody else dad, and I know who my dad is.
Yeah.
Y'all was sneaking around for a very long time. Y'all made a little family. You know what I mean? And had the baby around and all that. That's what they was doing. That's just what it looks like to me. Only because Lil PJ said dad clearly and knew who she was talking to.
Per Porsha's timeline, that's why I said it like that.
That's too fast. That's too fast.
They fell in love after 3 weeks.
And now she got that baby looking for him.
Fifi said
now she got that baby looking for him. He in Africa and the baby PJ looking for him.
I think Shamia's husband's kind of cute. I like his smile. I like a big smile.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I love ethnic looking men. No offense. I listen to what everybody else's taste is. I love a black man that look like a black man. I like him with a big old lip and a wide nose. I'm sorry. Yep. So those men are always very attractive to me.
He's not a bad looking man.
He looked like he smelled good.
Yeah, like he take a good long shower.
I know his skin looks healthy.
He can sit next to me.
He does, and it's so smooth, y'all. Oh my God, his skin looks like butter.
And then
we know how you feel about that skin, Alex. We know how you feel about that skin.
Next to me, I'll chat with you all afternoon. Looking better than Simon. Yeah, he's got this very regal royal face, very austere, chin level with the ground. Simon had more of a round face, a fatter face. You could tell he worked out.
And that's why I think Porsha does not like Shamia, because I feel like Shamia went on a journey. Do you know what I mean? And that's how she got the man that she got now. I feel like she discovered herself and she went on a grown woman journey. And Porsha was running around snapping pictures and doing 3-4 weddings after being with somebody for a month and didn't do the work on herself. And I think that Porsha is jealous of Shamia because Shamia reached her 40-year-old peak. Does that make sense to y'all?
I think
it seems like Shamia has matured. It seems like
a lot
calmed her. Ooh, Shamia's kids calmed her down.
Yes.
Porsha, you're looking everywhere but at your daughter.
Porsha
I
seems
do
like
think the
she's still
kids calmed her
locked in.
down. Yeah.
Porsha seems like she's still locked in kind of like a teenage, early 20s sort of mindset.
But
But I
that's
don't
because
think
everybody,
Shamia
Nene
and
and all them was referring to her as little sis when she was 37 years
when she was a
old.
grown
So,
woman. But no,
which that's why
not
she
even
walk
just the
around
little
thinking
sis
that's who
part.
she is.
Nobody ever really held Portia accountable like she needed to be held accountable. People are always making excuses and reasons. And what I will say is somebody who used to defend Portia a lot of those things were situational. Like we can go all the way back to her and Kenya's tussle. Like, was Portia wrong for doing what she did to Kenya? Yes. But we all can agree, I'm pretty sure we all can agree that if someone is waving something in our face after being repeatedly told not to and yelling at us with a bullhorn in our face, calling us out of our name, it would create a reaction. And that's what
You
I'm saying.
got
Like, a
one
lot of those
time.
things were situational. It didn't just happen out of
Yeah.
nowhere. But once those things keep happening and it's like, hold on, how you always find yourself in these scenarios?
And it's because she don't take a second to think about what the outcome is going to be for her. You know what I mean? And that's the part of maturing. She does not think about what's the outcome going to be. Okay, I'm Porsha Williams. If I snatch this hoe up right now, I'm going to end up on TMZ and on the Shade Room defending myself looking crazy.
And you know what's funny? The most recent example of this is the whole thing with Drew at the table. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in Portia's mind, or excuse me, because again, this is me still doing the same thing that I say is the issue. Porsha knows what she's doing. Per
Mm-hmm.
Portia's explanation, I've been nice to Drew. I haven't said anything to Drew. But everybody else is saying stuff about Drew because they're defending you. So you don't have to say anything. And you're also mad at Angela for inviting her. You're saying you don't have a problem with me being here, but you're mad at Angela for inviting me. You don't have to say anything directly to Drew about having a problem with her being there. You can be indirectly coming at Drew. That is what she was doing. And that's the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
she does often and gets away with. Because every woman at that table felt compelled to defend her. What real issue did the rest of those women have with Angela and Drew? Nothing.
Right.
Very true. Well, I want to thank all of you for a fabulous and robust conversation. We're going to put a pin in it here, but we will have a part 2 open forum to talk about the other ladies.
Yay. No sleeping with
Yay.
anybody's husbands. Bye,
No,
everybody.
Have a
Bye,
good
y'all.
day.
everybody have a great